Turkey's in the brine. Of course, that pot's not deep enough. This one pretty much is, though. 22 pounds on that one. 18 pounds on that one. Probably ought to turn this. There we go. Get a different part of it submerged. It'll do. Keep it covered. Keep most of the flies off. Okay, so about the brine, just in case anybody's wondering, this is actually a recipe I have not used before, and actually only the second year that I've ever brined my turkeys. But they came out pretty good last year doing what I did with no experience and not really even a good recipe to go with. Last year was mostly just salt water and some other stuff, but this year my buddy Reese clued me into what he does that everybody seems to think is awesome. And so this brine consists of however much water it took. I didn't measure stuff out very good, but however much water it took, which is about 3 gallons, and then maybe a cup or a cup and a half of salt, and a cup of brown sugar, and a half a cup of turbinado sugar, and then a handful, like not much of a handful, like, you know, just like that, of black peppercorns to go in there. And then it had, let me think, what else it had? Oh, a sprinkle of cloves. Reese had said whole cloves was what he used. We didn't have whole cloves, so I used ground cloves. And about a cup and a half of bourbon that went in there to help do the things. And for all of you, or any of you who might be opposed to alcohol, that alcohol is not ever going to be a factor because it'll be gone. There won't be any alcohol in it after it cooks for a while. Even if there was some alcohol that got into it, it's going to cook right out. Alcohol vaporizes at a low temperature. That's why it gets used for cooking a lot of times. It just leaves the flavor behind, which is what we're hoping for in this case. Seems like there was something else I put in there. I don't remember what, though. I think last year I used wine instead of bourbon, so we'll see how this does. But that's what that is. The big guy here, I think I mentioned, the 22 pounder, is going to go into the smoker. Pardon me. And then the 18 pounder there will go straight into the oven and just get roasted in the traditional fashion. These will be going into, that one will be going into the smoker here in just a little bit. Need some apricot. That smells good just cutting it. And some mesquite wood. Work. And a little bit of pecan. But the pecan's already cut, so we don't have to mess with that. And that's a lot more wood than I'll need for one turkey. Well, one turkey and some sausage. But I can use it to blend and mix and get it just how I want it. Now, got to clean this guy out. Some other people had it. They didn't leave it real neat. I got to fix it. I don't mind. And of course the wind would be blowing so that it's coming right at me. Normally the wind's out of the other direction, but not this time. My goodness. A bunch of stuff caked up in there. All this stuff gets repurposed into plant food now. Almost forgot one of the most important ingredients. And yes, these are little pine sprigs. Actually, they're spruce sprigs, blue spruce to be specific. They'll be completely burned off by the time the fire gets going and it gets to smoking, and it won't leave any pine residue or smoke. So it's not a big deal. I don't smoke with pine. It is roaring hot now, I can tell you. Hot enough there's pretty much no smoke. Yeah, that's mucho warm. That's okay. It's not going to stay hot like that. We're going to keep it cool. We're just getting that wood off to a good start so that it'll do some smoking. As soon as that burns itself down a little bit, we'll throw a couple other big chunks in there, let it start simmering, shut the air off to it, and then let it go to work when I get that turkey in there. To that end, for those of you that don't know how it works, I'll show you. When you shut it down, see right now there's no smoke coming off, but when you shut it down, and it can't get the air that it was getting, it doesn't take but a second. You can see it already. The smoke's going to start rolling out of it. And you can smell the difference. That's a hot smoke right there. You can still smell the heat, and it's not that good flavorful smoke that we want. But after it burns down just for a second and that fire goes away a little bit, it'll get better. I'm gonna have to close off that hole right there, partly where it's rusted out and partly just where that door doesn't shut good anymore. This thing's old. Once I close that off and keep the air from it, then we'll sure enough have some smoke going. Now to close off the hole, I'm not even going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to use a piece of sheet of aluminum foil. That's all that is. Just going to fold it where it'll kind of fit. Just tuck it in place here. Get it turned just the right direction. I'm going to use a stick because it'll get hot in a hurry, in a big hurry. Just like a damper on a fireplace. Ouch! Yep, got hot quick, told you. Trying to show all the sandhill cranes circling and flying over there. There's a few thousand. See, I need my old camera back so I can zoom. Can't zoom on this one. I put a dose of seasoning salt on it too, just before I brought it out. And I set it as far back that way as I can so that the heat doesn't get it, just the smoke. It's about to be a beautiful sunset. The clouds are all in the right place. The sun's going down just about now. going to be a nice day. You know, there's a lot of stuff to be thankful for, and I'm pretty thankful for getting to do things like this. Watching those cranes come in like they do, batch after batch, enjoying a pleasant afternoon. Headed over to my dad's house here in a minute to get to visit with my brother and sister and their families. May even throw a rock at a cat here in a minute. A lot of things to be thankful for. I'll let this guy smoke. I'll come back out here this evening before I go to bed. Add some more wood to it, let it keep smoking overnight. Yeah, the temperature's not bad right now, right at about 125, 150. Hotter up there, not as hot back over there. I can keep my hand on it for a couple of seconds, so I know it's not too bad. I don't want to cook it while it's doing this so much as to just smoke it. I want it to soak that smoke in deep, deep into the meat. This is the part where I throw a rock at a cat, kind of like I was talking about. Jumping up and getting into the pan. Anyway, I'll show you the finished product after it's done. Hopefully it'll come out good. We shall see. Well, here we are, Thanksgiving morning now. The turkey's done. You can probably see the fire burned down to almost nothing. There's still some live coals in there. It wouldn't take but a second to get that back going again. But mostly, it's all out and all done. There's no more smoke coming off of it. Have a look at the turkey. I suspect, I already know because I cheated and looked. It's going to look pretty good. Indeed it does. One very well smoked turkey. Got a great color on it. A little bit wet on the bottom where the fat leaked down. You can see the skin is just dry to the touch. It's got a good crust, if you want to call it that, over. It's not really crust, but it cooked that skin down just a tiny bit. Actually even a little bit on the tender side, but we're still going to cook it down. We're going to take it home, put it in the roaster, and take it to my dad's house, put it in the roaster and let it cook for a couple hours until the temperature gets just right and we know it's thoroughly cooked. But the good thing about this is that skin is holding all the juices and moisture inside the meat, inside the bird, so it's going to be good. What I'll do when I get home, I'll give it just a wipe down with a wet rag or something like that, because there's a little bit of ash on it. It doesn't hurt anything. You can eat a handful of ash and it's not going to hurt you. But we're not going to eat a handful of ash this time. So anyway, that's where we are right now. So we're going to get that moved over into the roasting pan where it'll live until it's ready to eat. So let's do that. Grab this guy out of here. There we go. There we go. Okay, now we got it ready. We'll take it home, get it in the roaster. It'll cook a couple hours. We'll check it with the meat thermometer once in a while. I used to not even use a meat thermometer. I used to just judge it by pulling the leg and see if the leg broke loose or sticking a knife into it or something to tell. But more professional now, I guess. So, all right, so we got one turkey in here. So, make that face. Yeah. That's a camera. See, smile. Say hi to the world.
Hi to the world.
There we go. That's my Uncle Alex.
But that's a camera. Huh?
Isn't that something? You can see what you're looking at either direction. How about that?
Technology just behold.
I'm telling you. I'm gonna leave that on there. That was my Uncle Alex. He's a pretty cool dude. He can tell you some stories about when he was in the Army Rangers and dealing with life. So anyway, what we've done here now, we've come out here. Since the oven is full in the house, then we're going to cook it in just a plain old electric roaster just sitting on the floor here. We turn the temperature up. I just turned it up while ago. I didn't even look. Let's see. I've got it on 300. That's actually about where I want it probably. Maybe 325 just to get it started cooking good. And it's just getting good and hot now. What I did was I poured just a little bit of water, about that much water in there in the bottom, just to get it started. Keep a little steam in there and so it doesn't, you know, like sizzle and stick to the bottom good. But we're gonna let that guy cook for a couple of hours and we'll come out with the meat thermometer and stick it in and see what we've got. So that's where we are, and we'll come back to that in a bit. Okay, so it's been about an hour and a half. I do not expect we're going to be anywhere close yet, but I just couldn't wait to get back out here. We're going to check it. Get the juice off of it. Set that guy there. What we're going to do is we're going to go into the breast just to kind of see where we are. And for the breast, we're going to be looking for about 170 degrees. It doesn't have to be quite that warm. But let's get us a good spot, maybe right there. Let's see if we can see that. Yeah, we still got a little ways to go. It's only up to about 100 right now. We'll poke it into a thigh here and just see what we got in that. Yeah, thighs at about 120. So that's about what I expected. Another hour and we ought to be about there. We checked the one in the house already and it was good to go. So it is out. Now we're waiting on this guy while we do some of the other stuff. So we'll come back here in a little bit, check it again. All right. Oh man, yeah, this is done even if it's not done at this point. I can tell by the way the meat pulled back on the legs. So we're just gonna find out right quick where we are here. Let's get us right there. Turn it where I can see it. Ding, 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 ding. Yep, turn that dude off because we're there, dude. Yes, sir. 170. That's good enough for the girls I go with. So we're going to pull this guy out, take it in the kitchen, and get it carved up, and we will be good to go. Boy, it smells good. Oh my goodness, it smells good. All right, so everybody's camera shy in there, so I probably won't take it in, but maybe I'll get a couple of pictures of it here in a second after we carve some off and see what it looks like. So anyway, here we are. It is time to make some food.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is what's left, and it came out good. What?
Some of those stupid.
That was our turkey.
Work the other way around. Take it to a bunch of.
Hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving. And so here we are the next morning, and we have one very well smoked turkey.